Hi, my name is Paul Wilson. I'm a student on the Applied Sports Science programme at the University of Salford. This presentation forms part of an assessment on Practitioner Skill Development module. I've already completed a report which looks at a role and my areas against that, and then a development plan. This presentation is used to support that. I'm going to start off by outlining the role in a little bit more depth, and then I'm going to compare myself against that role, and then specify particular areas which I feel I'll need to develop if I'm going to achieve that role. The role is Volleyball Development Officer. I'm interested in the Volleyball Development Officer role because I have a background in volleyball, and I realised that you need a degree often to gain these type of roles. I have seen a role and I've read through the job description. It's not just a case of coaching children, you also have to develop it by going around to schools. You also have to have the technical skills for the strength and conditioning side to work with elite squads. So first of all, I'll start off by looking at my own personal profile, which I've achieved through completing a number of tests while at the university. First of those was my learning style. My learning style has come out that I'm an activist, which is good, which shows that I'm able to embrace new activities. I'm happy to have a go at different areas, but sometimes the negatives of that is that I tend to act first and then think later. What I need to do, obviously, is think about that in terms of a group situation, if I'm working with a group of children or working in a school or a club situation. So I need to think about those in a little bit more depth. My learning style is a visual learner, which is obviously useful, isn't it? I'll be observing people in their training and also in performance and competition, but I do need to also be aware of the kinesthetic side and also the auditory side if I'm going to be successful as the role of Volleyball Development Officer. In terms of my team role, I've come out as a shaper. They're often energetic and extroverted, like to get things done, but they can be quite abrasive and impatient. I need to develop the patience side of my personality, because obviously there'll be different situations. I have to nurture people's talent, and I also have to be aware of other people's abilities. The other area I've looked at is my leadership. I've come out as an authoritarian, which makes me a little bit more able to control a group in a situation, and I think that would be useful for Volleyball Development Officer. But I also have to be equally aware of the other styles, which are delegative and participatory, so that I can understand other people's perspectives as well, because there will be other coaches there and there will be other people with knowledge in volleyball. I need to be able to share that knowledge. My multiple intelligence, looking for the Gardner scales, come out as a bodily kinesthetic, which I think is ideal because I'm willing to demonstrate in the role of Volleyball Development Officer. But I'd also need to be aware of the other intelligences to make sure that I'm able to communicate quite effectively. In terms of communication, I've come out as intrapersonal, which means I'm good at self-analysis, which I think would be good. So if a situation arises where I feel somebody is underconfident or perhaps overconfident, I'll be able to perhaps look at the way that I've dealt with that, and I may be able to look at the way that they deal with it themselves. I think part of that is the fact that I have a high emotional intelligence. It means that I'm able to understand myself and other people's actions, and I think that will be very useful in the role that I'm interested in. The final one is my personality. I've come out as extroverted but stable. It means that whilst I'm very talkative and outgoing and sociable, it means that I'm able to communicate with other people. What I need to do is focus on the actual role though. So Volleyball Development Officer, I need to look at developing people's skills, maybe clubs in the area. I need to look at looking at an elite squad, and that's what I should be focusing on rather than a kind of social desirability. So looking at the job description, I've outlined three main areas that I need to work on. One of those is working with children. Currently I don't work with children at all. I work with adults, coach adults in a local volleyball team. So I need to go to a school perhaps and volunteer. I've identified one called All Hallows in Salford. I've approached the PE teacher. He's okay for me to go in and teach volleyball in my second year, so that's something which I'll be doing. I also need coaching qualifications, because at the moment I've just gained my skills through playing, and I found out that Greater Sport, which is a local organisation, if I volunteer for them, then I can gain level 1 coaching qualifications, particularly in volleyball. I've also noticed that they do separate qualifications in working with children and child development, and so as part of my volunteering I accumulate a number of hours, and I'll be undertaking these courses possibly in my second year, but more likely in my third year. The role also requires an undergraduate degree, and it's 2-1, minimum 2-1, so obviously going to make sure that I complete the degree programme. And the final area is expertise of working at an elite level in volleyball. So whilst I have some experience of volleyball at a number of different levels, I think it's important that I volunteer at a local club, and Salford has a Premier League club. I've approached the coach and they've okayed for me to come down and volunteer and help out on a basis, and I hope that over the years, because I have 2 years before I graduate, that I'll be able to develop my skills of working with elite performance and applying some of the academic knowledge that I've gained on the programme onto the performance side. This concludes my presentation. I'll obviously be returning to this in 2 years' time to see how my skill development has been achieved compared with this presentation. Thank you.